Hi everybody, this is Michelle Greenman, Women's Wellness Coach, and I teach women how to create a natural, healthy lifestyle so they can have the health that they want, be that lose weight, recover from chronic illness, or just get off your medications and feel amazing. So every week I've been kind of sharing that little health tip and helping you to really put it all together. But this week is going to be a little bit different. This week is going to be about really getting help and what that looks like and what that's not. And if I want to call this week something, it would be getting help does not mean you're broken. Because I think that's what's happening for a lot of you. And I'm going to share a story about me, but I'm not sure what you'll get from the story either way. So let me not mess up the story by telling you what I think you should get. So let's just start with this. When I talk to some ladies or I hear why they are not really getting help or support, it's usually because they say they can't afford it or they don't have time, something like that. The truth of the matter is I really think that deep down inside, you feel like getting help means that something's really wrong or you're broken. And there's just these ways that are acceptable ways to get help in society and some ways that are not seeming to be acceptable. And so I'll give you an example. Going to the doctors is an acceptable way of getting help, and it doesn't matter if the doctor doesn't really ask you a lot of questions, find out really what the causes are, gives you a band-aid, gives you drugs that make you sicker. It doesn't really matter if that's happening because that's like the natural way of doing things and everybody believes that that's okay. However, for a long time and still now, going to a psychologist or a counselor was kind of taboo, and it meant that your relationship was on the edge of, falling over a cliff. If you really needed to go to a counselor, it was like the worst of the worst. And it really is amazing that those out there that you might look at as your kind of role models, and I know that's kind of an old word, but those out there that you would consider somebody that you'd want to emulate or kind of be like, not completely, because of course, we're not supposed to be like any person here on this earth, but we look at as being successful or being accomplished or, in certain ways we want to be like them, either in a physical way or an emotional way or a monetary, financial success way. And we look at them and we think they have it all together and we just want to be like them and have it all together ourselves and not be try to keep it together all the time or trying to put it together all the time. We just want to be living this happy, normal looking life like they seem to be doing. That every person who is, I think, financially established has some kind of mentor, coach, or counselor. It's amazing now that, being a coach myself and kind of rubbing arms with a lot of other coaches in my field and coaches from other fields like business and even, other people like speakers and authors. It's amazing to realize that all of them have this huge support system of somebody, at least one person, who is at the next level where they want to get to, pulling them up and showing them the steps to get there. And the people who don't have this type of support are scratching the bottom trying to make it work. And it's just not rocket science. I remember when I was first starting this business and I actually applied for a government grant, and part of this government grant was I spent 2 weeks in my nearest city getting support on how to write a business plan. And you would think, does it take 2 weeks to write a business plan? We spent the first week learning how to write a business plan and the second week learning how to put little systems into our business. But I had to have those questions answered, and I had to have people bring up questions I would have never thought about asking. And I needed somebody to be able to kind of tell me, this is what that's going to look like, and this is what to prepare for, and this is what to get ready for. And it's amazing that when I ended up putting together my goal planning workshop, that if you have a group that really needs to figure out what kind of plans they need, I love doing this workshop for groups. Let me know. I will come to wherever you are and do this workshop with your group, because learning how to plan goals is one of the most phenomenal ways to move yourself forward. But anyways, in the 10 steps of goal planning, one of those steps is to figure out who is going to support you and to figure out where you're going to get those support. That's 2 steps. Where it is that you need to get support for the new skills that you have to learn, and who is that's going to support you. And the funny thing is, when I was learning these steps of goal planning from a couple of different sources, one of the things that really stuck out to me was there is nobody that gets ahead without support. And my story when it comes to health and everything that I was able to change, with the support of God being the biggest part, came from people telling me what to do next. It came from, my own coach kind of leading me through that path of, look, this is what it looks like to cook healthy food, lady, and who would say, don't use a microwave, and who would say, stop eating really late at night. And I needed that. There is no way for me to have that information in my head, because I didn't have that information in my head. And so when I've actually, I know this is happening for a lot of you, because it comes up with my own clients, that it takes almost like 6 months before they actually start emailing me on a regular basis. I usually include emergency email support, if not unlimited email support, in my coaching practice, but I have to encourage them all the time to email me, to let me know what's going on, to give me their questions, to let me know how I can help them. Because amazingly enough, they feel like it's not going to work. But this is what I found to be amazing. The people who ask for the most support are the people who have the most success. The people who say that they don't know how to do something, and they ask and they figure it out. And when I say figure it out, is like figure out a way to get what they need from me to formulate a question that allows me to help them, are the people who get better the quickest, and they do not have the problems of falling backwards and sabotaging as much as others. That's the bottom line. One of my clients, over this holiday, because we just passed the December, and she went on vacation and spent the first 2 weeks sending me an email almost every other day. Every few days she sent me an email about what she was feeling, about how hard time she was having, about what she liked about it, about everything. And after we worked through all of those little pieces, I didn't hear from her for a month, and she enjoyed herself and had a wonderful time. But had she not have just contacted me, and I'm telling the story because there's no excuses, even if you're in another country. Most countries are going to have internet, right? That if she hadn't have contacted me, she would have never enjoyed that vacation. And I don't want to say it like, I'm this magical person that makes vacations happen. What I am saying is, we never know what's going to happen when we get into a new situation. And if we do not start this process of really self-examining and being open and trying to learn from these experiences, and then going to our mentor or coach or support system and saying, hey, this is what I'm feeling. This is what's happening for me. Can you give me a different point of view? Can you help me through this process? That we don't get through it. And so you have the opportunity to have a life that you're dreaming of. And I can tell you what it looked like for me when I started. I just wanted to get close to God. I didn't want a husband. I didn't want a business. I didn't want a lot of money. I just wanted to get close to God, and I wanted to find some kind of purpose or work on this earth that I could do and not want to skip school or work after a while. That's what I was looking for. And I used goal planning to put that together. I used focusing on my health to put that together. And I used spending time, working towards my relationship with God, working towards finding my purpose. And that meant reading, that meant sharing, that meant praying. But I did not do that on my own. And to think that happens because you just want it is crazy. You know, to think that you're going to want to be healthy and that one day everything about you that you've been able to consistently do to get yourself to the position that you're in is suddenly going to change, and you will be able to have the mindset and the physical endurance and the energy and the motivation and the commitment to be able to follow through with the life that you want is crazy town. Like, you may be able to shift your mindset enough to get that inspiration that it's possible. And I hope that that's what I do with these videos. I hope that when you watch these, you get the fact that it's possible. But if you notice, you don't get healthy by just watching these videos. You don't get healthy by just figuring out that it's possible, that inspiration only lasts for so long. You make changes by consistently taking action and course correcting that action to make sure it's the best action for you. And you can't do that on your own. So what I really would love for you to be able to do on this specific video watching would be to understand that getting help does not mean that you're broken. Getting help means that you're committed, you're determined, and you're going to make it. Because it gives somebody else the chance to put their money where their mouth is and to give results to you for the investment that you're making. It gives them a chance to be able to really prove that what they believe is sound and is possible by having you actually be able to achieve it. And I can tell you right now, it's scary. You know, when I first started being a coach, my first client, I so wanted this to work and I so wanted this to happen. But when she told me she had polycystic ovary syndrome and that they had been trying to get pregnant for 5 or 6 years and that they just gave up trying and that she didn't want to try to lose weight because every time she did, she gained it all back, there was a part of me that was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can help her. I've never done this before. But I knew what I believed was true, and I did not just have inspiration. I had the proof of all the different people who had been getting healthy that I haven't worked with, but I knew other people worked with. And so was I surprised when she got better? No, but I was elated when she got pregnant and lost 30 pounds in 2.5 months and was able to just feel amazing after, you know, and that's what the difference is. I have to prove that it works. I have to make it work for you. I get to solve those problems. I get to help you through that. And that's what you do when you get help. You really are able to connect with somebody who believes like you do and say, I can't see my blind spots and I need you to help me see them. So if there is anything that I wanted you to get, it would be that successful people always have some kind of support, help, or mentorship. The more successful, I could say, the more coaches they have, which is a little crazy because I would have never thought that myself before. But there are people out there in the world who have 3, 5, 8 coaches that coach them in different parts of their lives and are doing amazing as far as really having a life that they feel is successful to them. And that's going to be different for everybody. And that's why I said you need to find somebody who has the same belief system that you do, that believes, at least in that realm, the place that you want to get to. So the other thing that is important with this whole kind of sphere of getting help is, I remember talking to one coach. I was doing like a practice session coaching with her, and her mom had been the one who helped her, and her mom had passed away. And really what the problem she was having was organization around the house. And I said, like, why don't you hire somebody to help you organize? You know, because she was a mom of, I think she had 5 kids that she was homeschooling, starting her own business, you know, and I mean, that's enough, right? There's nothing more. She was a wife. And I'm saying that's a lot to do. Why don't you just get somebody to help? And it came out that, you know, it was something her mom was doing and that was a pressure point for her, but that she felt like she needed to be able to do it all on her own. And one thing that I learned from history. I know I never thought I would learn anything from history class, but I'm glad that I did take history in university. One thing I learned from history is when a woman was taking care of the house in like the 1800s, 1700s, it meant that she was a supervisor of the help. It meant that the maids were doing the beds properly, that the cook was cooking the food properly. It meant that everybody who was employed at that house was doing their jobs, and that the wife got to kind of be the CEO, supervisor, manager, have people under her that followed through on her instructions. And it was amazing for me to see that, because we had this skewed idea that those who have it all together do every single thing themselves. I'm telling you, there's only 24 hours in everybody's day. There's only so much time that you have. And if you spend less time doing the things that somebody else can do probably better than you, then you have more time to do the things that you can do amazingly. And for some of you, that's get healthy. You really need to get healthy to move forward. And so you're going to have to get support and help on it. And you are not broken, you are committed, you're determined, and you're going to make it happen. So I encourage you guys to, at the least, find a buddy that the two of you can kind of see your blind spots a little bit and be honest with each other. That was the situation that I first had with my husband, that we'd be friends, that we would be honest, that we could not BS each other, and that when we were going through this process of really self-discovery and discovering our relationship with God and discovering our path, that we would be able to help each other through that. And at the best is to hire a few coaches in the places that you're having trouble with. And you can only have one in each area. You can only have one be leading you through one strategy, but do it. It's going to be worth it. It's going to change your life, and it's going to make things amazingly almost surreal of what you can achieve, what you can dream, what you can believe by having somebody else hold that vision for you, especially when it gets hard and terrifying and, you're not sure anymore. To have somebody say, remember when you wanted this, get back there. So I encourage you all this week, find some support, find some help, find somebody who can stand by you through this journey. And if you have been liking my videos and you really need somebody to talk to, I'll tell you right now, I don't work with a huge amount of people, but I will always talk with you and make sure that you understand who you need to find to help you. And so if you are looking for that next person of help, be it me or somebody else, I encourage you to go to my website right now or the link below and schedule a time that's going to work for you. We'll get on the phone, we'll figure out what it is that you need, we'll help you get to that next step, and whether that's working with me or I can recommend you to somebody else, we will make sure that this year you get healthy. So have a fantastic week. Put me to the test on my offer. My promise is at the end of our call that you have a clear idea, you have at least one nugget that you can move forward with today and really be able to change your life. I so much appreciate you watching my videos and, really getting information from me. Feel free to comment, and I will see you next week. Bye.